I'm Dr. Laura Penn, and welcome to Green Views, a talk show about green issues and green solutions, in partnership with Dukascopy TV. As the threat of climate change increases, so do the risks for business. Some estimates put the cumulative global cost of climate change impacts as high as $4 trillion by 2030, if we stay on our current path of greenhouse gas emissions. Here to make the case that ambitious climate action is good for business is Dr. María Mendiluce. She is the Managing Director for Climate and Energy at the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, or WBCSD. Dr. Mendiluce, welcome to Green Views.
Thank you, Laura.
I'd like to start by asking you, why is it important for businesses to take climate action now?
Well, as you rightly pointed, climate change is already happening. We have seen extreme events happening more often and in unexpected places. For example, the Thai floods affected Thailand in 2011, but had consequences on some of the car manufacturer producers in Japan, which indeed couldn't deliver the cars to their customer in Europe. We saw, on the other hand, the Hurricane Sandy, which affected New York citizens, business, and the American economy. So climate change is real, is happening, and we know, because the science has been very clear, because there has been a lot of studies and analysis, we know that there are solutions and that we can mitigate climate change. And so business is well aware of those opportunities that are emerging with new technologies that can address climate change, that can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions.
Which leads me to ask you, what are some examples of climate actions that businesses are currently taking?
Well, energy efficiency, introducing LED lighting, is one example that anyone, both in business and at home, are already doing. No? Energy efficiency audits, it's something that business is doing. It improves the bottom line. It reduces the cost of the company. It makes a lot of sense. But investment in technologies like solar photovoltaics, which used to be quite expensive, now it's competitive in many areas around the world.
Like where?
For example, in India, the latest bids in the Indian market, solar photovoltaics were cheaper than the fossil fuel alternatives. So solutions are there, solutions are real and are competitive.
Interesting. And in reading about climate action and business, I've come across this term, Low Carbon Technology Partnerships Initiative. What is that, and how can businesses get involved with that?
Okay, this is a project that we're doing at the World Business Council for Sustainable Development in partnership with the International Energy Agency and the Sustainable Development Solution Network, which is attached to the UN Secretary General. And what we did, we started last year with 20 companies, and we were looking at the climate change challenge and looking at what can business do. And we came up with 9 solution areas.
What are those solution areas?
So carbon capture and storage, renewable energy, low carbon transport fuels, low carbon freight, cement, chemicals, forest, and agriculture. And in those 9 areas, we have business that are engaged with different partners. In total, there are 140 businesses that have joined this movement, and it's increasing. And we have around 30 partners that have specialized in some of the actions that are developed in those areas. And the groups are agreeing on an ambition, on what are the barriers to achieve that ambition, and then what are the actions that they propose to do. Business to business, business with governments, etc.
Speaking of governments, I know that 2015 is a big year for climate change because 196 representatives from 196 governments are going to come together in Paris in December for the Conference of the Parties, COP21. What is the role of businesses in supporting climate negotiations at COP21?
Well, estimates suggest that 80% of investments in technology are done by business. And governments are well aware that if we want to have a successful climate agreement, business needs to be on board. And to tell you the truth, business are coming up, are stepping up to the challenge and are being much more vocal about what they can do. And they want to show support to the negotiators so that they can do indeed agree on an ambitious climate agreement.
Do you think that this climate agreement will actually influence businesses to change their climate strategies?
Yes, definitely. Because, Laura, what they're discussing at the moment is to establish a long-term goal of global net zero emissions within this century. This means that sometimes before the end of the century, greenhouse gas emissions will be phased out in the same way that we did with liquid gasoline in Europe. And this means that business has a long-term view. They know that certain investments won't be viable in the future. Also, governments are coming with emission reduction targets for their countries that will be reviewed every 5 years. So business understand that not only there are some targets that they need to contribute to, but also that those targets will be increased in ambition and they will be tougher. So the signals are clear, and we see that business are seeing that this is going to happen, and they're stepping up. As I say, they see that there is a business opportunity. It makes economic sense, and it makes business sense to invest in low carbon technology. And they're coming up massively through our initiative, but also through other initiatives to vocally support an ambitious climate agreement and more action on climate.
Wow, well, good luck in December, and thank you for these valuable insights.
Thank you, Laura.
And thank you for watching. This is Dr. Laura Penn with Green Views, a talk show about green issues and green solutions. Until next time.